Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Broyans Farm. This morning, Mom, Dad, my uncle, my pap all headed off to the Sellersburg flea market. Sammy and I actually stayed back. I had to take care of the greenhouses. Sammy is actually working on planting our cantaloupe for the field, and then possibly we're going to get into tying the tomatoes at some point later in the day. We're using a different kind of tray than what we normally use. You've seen me before planting into the 1204s, which is one pack of 4 cells. And actually, I can show you what that looks like right in here. This is the watermelon I did about 3 days ago. And so you can see right there, the different cells. These trays actually came from our strawberries last year. And Dad liked the way they were shaped and the way they planted. So we saved them, cleaned them, oxidated them. And now, well, we're using them for the watermelon, the cantaloupe. And this is the first time where we're doing it. So we're gonna see how it goes. But we can't use the same tray to make the impressions like I did with all the other ones. And so Sammy now has, I guess, found these are actually called 3201s. 32 of these will fit in one of these trays right here. And so I was talking to her about maybe getting a block of wood and figuring out how we could make an impression in there. And then she, I guess, found this, and it actually works almost exactly perfect. And then after that, it basically goes to the same thing I was doing before. Gonna place 3 seeds in each cell, kind of like in a triangle formation. And we'll cover them back up with then the seeding soil, which is a lighter and finer soil than the potting which she's using right now to plant into. The cucumbers, pickles, and zucchini that Sammy did about probably 5 days ago now are all coming up really nice. This is a golden glory yellow zucchini. This is pickling, green zucchini, straight 8, it's a cucumber. And then down here, she has yellow beans, and right over here are the green beans, which is just a bush bean. So now this tray is done. Next step will be taking this seeding soil, like I was saying, and just making a fine layer over top. Kind of hard to do with one hand. And then once the whole thing is filled, we'll kind of just take our hand gently and level that out. That way we don't pull those seeds back out of that cell. Sammy just finished up. She did all these flats here and these 2 right here. They take a little bit longer than like the zucchini, pickles, cucumbers, all the stuff like that takes. And so I had to go down to the lower high tunnel. We had some of our smaller miniature sunflowers in there. And when I went down, the tomatoes were like wilting. And it's not because they're dry, it's just because it's so hot. So I turned the water on. I'm gonna water them for a couple hours. And I even turned the big vent fan on just to try and, cool them off a little bit, because although there's nothing we can really do besides try and get a little more airflow through there, I'd hate to see them wilting down like that. And so I didn't even come in the upper one here yet. All I did was opening the sides up this morning. And yeah, it is pretty hot. And as you can see, the tomatoes are wilting here as well. And so I turned the water on here too, just because I hate to see them look like this. It looks like they're dry, but I can tell you they're not dry. I can feel my fingers down in there and it's pretty wet. Here's actually the first tomato that I'm seeing. A lot of blossoms, but that's the first actual tomato I see. I'm sure if I looked around I'd see more. But yeah, just look at it hanging their head. I'm gonna open up the sides more too. Days like today, there just really isn't much wind. Sun's out pretty bright and full, not much cloud cover. And so we're just not getting a lot of ventilation through here. And there's, like I said, nothing we can do. I think the tomatoes are gonna be just fine. They obviously like it hot, but it's a little bit too much. Sammy's down here watering. See how she's making out. We did pretty good today. It's about 2:30 and we're just finishing up watering. And then that should be good for the day because we watered everything pretty heavy knowing that it was gonna get like this. I'm not 100% sure how, but the water came out of this basket and I didn't notice it until obviously now pretty late. Luckily these come back really well because this has happened before other years, but that's the way it should look. And this is the way it looks now. If I can remember, I'll give you an update on it in about an hour and it'll probably go right back to normal. Here's how you water this guy.
Hold on. Wow. That poor little guy.
Sammy and I have now moved on to tying tomatoes. We already actually got done with 2 rows. We're halfway done with our 3rd, or just about halfway. This is now the 3rd tying for down here.
Whoa, there's a...
What?
What is that?
Sammy sees a bug. And so anyway, doing really good, looking really healthy. They've all got 1, 2, or sometimes even 3 bud clusters on them. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the videos before, how it works is Sammy is still occupied by a bug. Come on.
I gotta go one more. Okay.
We go down one side and then we weave it through the center of the 2 tomatoes that are between the 2 stakes. Then we'll come back up and weave it again, making basically an X between the 2 and supporting the tomato on both sides. Then we'll wrap it around the stake twice just to make sure that it doesn't come loose, and go on to the next one. Right now is when it's kind of the hard time to do it because it's too high to like sit down and scoot like she used to, and it's too low to stand up, so you basically just gotta hunch your back the entire time, which isn't real fun, but just has to be done. And as for me, as you can see, I am holding not only a piece of PVC, but the box of string. The PVC is basically just to direct the string more, helps out Sammy, which is not really as beneficial when I'm holding a camera, but she's managing. So we're just finishing up. Sammy is heading off to do barn work, which is literally just 1 bucket of chop. Mom and Dad just got back from market. We're gonna unload truck in the morning, so basically they just parked the truck there. And I think they headed off somewhere. I don't exactly know where. So I just got up here to the strawberry field. The berries are actually looking awesome. Look at these clusters we got going on here. This, where was it? I just seen, oh yeah, right here. This just looks awesome. I mean, you can just see all those berries, and they're starting to turn now. Some of the ones that actually are already turning are getting chewed off by the birds, which is a shame. Look at this guy here. That one's gonna be really nice really soon. Probably the next day or so. That's only if the birds don't get it. And so certain varieties obviously come on before others. These here are very close. Actually out there where the variety changes, some of them are real red, like almost ready to eat. Those over there are barely even forming the berry. And so that's the whole point of having different varieties. It's the next day. Sammy, my dad, and myself just got to the field, and we're gonna start planting onions. So we're moving along pretty good. Obviously, as you can see, it's a very slow process. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 here. Then we left 2 rows for a drive, and we got 2 more rows done, so that's 8 rows done. And I want to assume there's going to be around 25 rows altogether, but we'll see here at the end. These flats, I think, fit around 380 to 390. Times that by 2 because they're each planting, and they don't go through quite one flat in a row. So there's probably around 750 onions in each row. And well, at the end we can figure out exactly how many onions that is, because obviously every single onion in the tray did not germinate, so we don't exactly have 380 or 390 in that tray. We're over halfway done. We got yellow and white in the ground. We're just starting to plant red now, and then we're gonna finish up with more yellow, which is the candy. This wagon was full when we started. Sammy and Dad are on the planter ready to go. I'm obviously driving. It's hard to see the onions right now, but in a couple days, when they start to bush out, you'll have no problem seeing them. So we just finished up, heading out. That's what I'm calling it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.